Friends, this program is brought to you by the generous support of people like you. Founders Church of Religious Science, a center for spiritual living in Los Angeles, is committed to providing you with inspirational messages daily and weekly to enhance your spiritual journey into your best possible life. To become a supporter, please visit our website or click the link on this page to inform you on how to make your gift. We thank you.
Hello, friend. My subject this morning is the law of circulation. I think this is a beautiful law because when we think about circulation, we're thinking about how the world works, how the earth goes around the sun, how the universe works, and how your life works. There is a going and a return all the time, a going and a return. And when you think about planting things, there's a season for planting. There's a way in which the circulatory system works. There's a way in which just about everything works. The week comes from Sunday to Saturday, and it begins again. And we get to see some kind of rhythm to life, and we need that rhythm. So what are we looking at with circulation? That our life works on circles. And we also say that God is a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. So we can see there is a way in which life works. And once you begin to understand that there is a way in which life works, then you understand what law is. We talk about the science of mind, and everyone needs a science of mind. Why? Because science means the way something works, and mind means God. So fundamentally what we're saying is that we want to know how God works. And that is not that different from Einstein's insight that I want to know how the mind of God works, the rest are a detail. So here we are. We are looking at how we can do several things. We're going to look at how this business of the law of circulation allows us to experience the good life, how it allows us to experience success, how it allows us to experience wholeness, and how it allows us to experience happiness. That's what I want to cover. So what I mean by the good life. The good life means that there is a consciousness of goodness and optimism that you experience in getting up and doing all the work that you need to do. And the way you have to do it is through your thoughts, through your ideas, through the feelings that you have for life. And this is our responsibility. God cannot take care of that for us. It is our responsibility to maintain the consciousness of a good life, whatever that means for you. So we see what we're starting with, and we're starting with those wonderful thoughts of Genesis that we are made in the image and likeness of God, that we are to be fruitful and multiply. If you're going to be fruitful, you have to know the seasons. And whereas somebody may say, well, it means to have children. Well, you still have to know the seasons. It takes so much time to have a child. And then you have the entire circle or circuit of how a person goes from childhood to adulthood and finally to death. So it's all about circles. So how much time do you have? What are you doing with your time? How are you using it? How do you find that you can spend your time living the good life, not sometime in the future, but starting right now if you haven't already started it? To first decide in your mind that life is good. You notice how Genesis did it? Every day that God did something, created something, we say, God declared it good. What about you? What about me? Shouldn't we have a sense of the cycle of goodness each day, that despite how the day may turn out, despite the fact that it may not turn out as well as we wanted, we still declare that it is good because it is as good as we could make it. And there's no absolute standard of what that good is. The good comes from you're being able to do your best and to keep your mind in a consciousness of good. And you will find that there will be a shift in consciousness in you, because as Solomon says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So what are you thinking? And what do you mean thinking in the heart? The heart thinks. In a sense, scientists will tell you that the heart does think. But what I mean is, one goes from thinking something in his mind to believing something. And when it becomes a belief, that is what is called thinking in the heart. As a man thinketh in the heart. So that's why Jesus said, as you believe, so be it done unto you. So you can link the two sayings, as you believe. But let's say you're just enthralled by the fact that you can spend 8 hours a day looking at the news and seeing all the bad things that are happening. If you fill your consciousness only with that, then how are you going to feel it's a good life? The news is about what is not working. And your life's about what is working. So you need to put that in some kind of a framework to say, I'm not going to spend all my time thinking about that. I'm going to spend my time also looking at what is working so well. You're breathing, your circulatory system is working, you have friends, you can make new friends, you have connection. All these things are part of the good life. But a good life requires preparation. And I think Isaiah, the great Hebrew prophet, tells us a little bit about this. He says, in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for God. So wilderness symbolizes chaos. Life is filled with all kinds of things. We must make choices. Making the choices when things are more or less disorganized is really part of preparing a way for the Lord. To get away from confusion and also to get away from negative thinking that contradicts the goodness that you're feeling and sensing in spite of what may or may not be happening. The other word, the desert, suggests a hostile situation. Many of us are living in a hostile situation in our own minds, not just in the world. Because when you take on the negative news and you make it part of who you are, you have included hostility in your mind. The things that you are trying to say are positive and good, you now have all kinds of reason to say, no, they're not because of this and that and that. There are always going to be trials and tribulations in the world, but spirituality is for centering yourself in the good. And once you center yourself in the good, go back to that definition that God is the center whose circumference is everywhere and whose center is everywhere, I should say, and whose circumference is nowhere. So put yourself right where God is. Because remember now, Jesus also said the kingdom of God is centered in you, is in you, centered in you. So if you center yourself in the good, then you will see that you will allow that beautiful part of yourself to come forward as the good. And that will transform the world that you are living in. So, is the good life possible? It's not only possible, it's desirable. When you finish the years you have spent on this earth, however long they are or short they are, what do you want to say about yourself? You want to say, well, I had a good life? Or you want to say, oh, I regret that I didn't do this, I didn't believe that, I didn't try this, I didn't try that because I thought I was overwhelmed by this tsunami wave of bad things that were happening. You can get into issues of racism and all these things. And these are real issues, and we have to deal with them. But we can't let them flood over into our mind and our peace. We need to understand a good life is about accepting your peace, accepting your goodness, and using that to walk through the shadow of the valley of death. The valley of the shadow of death is however it's said. And fearing no evil. Why? Because the Spirit of good is within me. And feeling that wonderful sense of the flow of David as he says, you'll lead me to this pond and this field that is, the sheep is going to this sacred pond and this place that has wonderful grass and all that. In other words, the abundance of life is still available to you, and you have to choose it. If you don't choose it, then you're allowing somebody else to choose the life that you should be choosing for yourself to live, and you won't enjoy it. And the idea is to realize that the only way we can experience the good life as the life of circulation is to be giving it, And so Emerson says, beware of holding too much good in your hands. And Dr. Holmes says, when the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us that we really express life. The law of giving and receiving is definite. So you want to express life, you want to get back what's good, you have to first give it. That is the law of circulation. And so from my Changism, it says, don't hoard, circulate to propagate. So don't hoard. So let's look at what is said by Malachi. Malachi says, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house. And test me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing until it overflows. You can see the idea is the relationship to good must always be there, to God. The good is always there. And when you come to it with a sense of giving your best to life, it's like giving it back to God. It's like giving it out to each other. And it comes as a circulation that Malachi says that you will see that there is a window of receptivity that is there, windows really for giving and receiving, where heaven gives you this goodness and it will overflow in your life. It's simple to recognize that you cannot outgive God. So we're saying that circulation is the key to this success that we must have. And the circulation is that freely you have been given, so freely give. You cannot withhold from your part. To withhold what you have to give is like stealing. If you want something for nothing, if you want something without giving anything, it's like Moses saying, thou shalt not steal. Why? Because you have now short-circuited the circulation. So look at how you have been giving back to life. Look at how you have been giving your talents, your time, your money, your good thoughts, your appreciation for life. Look at all these things and see how you are doing. Because if you don't do it well, you won't be able to do it at all. I want to talk a little bit about reflection on the law of circulation. And this is really the reflection on wholeness, because we have to understand that there is a totality about life, and this totality is for us to begin to feel a sense of being bigger than just yourself, that you're here to do things for others as well as yourself. And as you do that, you'll find that life is working out for you in a very powerful way. So there is a circuit of good that is flowing in through and around you all the time. And when you are having difficulty, we can use this belief to entice us to understand that if it is true that it is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, it has to be true in the present moment. That is when you come to know your truth. You have to feel it in the present moment. You have to understand that in this world where you are told to have dominion over your world, and when I say over your world, I mean your world, not the world. We're not here to have dominion over everybody else in the world and all the things in the world. We're here to have dominion over our world. And this means that we have to be able to control our thoughts. We have to know what we believe. We want to know how we apply these beliefs and what is it that we are receiving. So you might want to even start keeping a diary of how you go about this. Because if you want to apply something scientifically, you want to know if it's really working. So you make up your mind and you say, this is how I'm going to live. And you begin to write down just what it is that you think you ought to do to make the law of circulation work, which is, what am I going to give to life? And how am I going to go about giving it generously to life? And also record what is being returned to you. What are the good things that are happening to you? People come up to you and do things that you're surprised about. Why? Because of the fact that you have that consciousness that is giving and is also willing to receive. You have to get to a point where you do not obsess over being perfect. Some people think that if they're not perfect, that God is not happy with them. We're all going to make mistakes. The Bible says all have sinned and have come short of the glory of God. That is true. That doesn't mean that you are not in the very heart of God anyway. It is not about how good you are. It's about how good you try to be, how you make the attempt to do the good that you need to do, and how you continue to improve. Life is an evolutionary thing, and Spirit knows that this is the way in which life works, that there are mistakes and there are also good things happening. And that's why there are teachings in the Bible and teaching elsewhere to tell us how to live this world in a better way. We have to also see life as a unity. Today we have the challenge of racism. We have the challenge of people who think that only one group of people should own the resources and the power. And when you look at the world, you can see that there is no future to that kind of thinking except wars and disagreements and killings. And who wants that? There is only one species, the human species, one race, the human race. And there's only one tribe, Homo sapiens. And the sooner we get to the fact that these are all prejudiced thinking on our part, that yes, we grew up in a family, then the family turned into a tribe, and the tribe has to fight against other tribe to survive. We need to grow out of that. We need to recognize that the law of circulation is about all of us. The earth is one little tiny dot in terms of the universe. A little tiny dot, a little mote of dust. And you can see how delicately we are poised to be destroyed if we have people who are just as powerful as we are, who have the same feeling about the fact that they should dominate everybody else. We need to sit down and reason together and recognize the love and the harmony and the beauty of the variety that God has presented on the earth. The variety is for us to appreciate and to encourage. And there's no need for us to act as if it needs to be any other way. Wholeness also means that when I'm happy, you're happy. Because I'm doing things not only for my happiness, I'm doing things for your happiness as well. So we must come to the conclusion that there is a totality, that all things must work together for good. And how are we going to get there? We say, for those who love God. Why? Because God is the unity of the world and the oneness that lives, moves, and has its being in us. So my friends, I hope these thoughts have been useful in helping you to see that the law of circulation is always in effect, whether you believe it or not, that you're going to get back what you give. And so, as of today, start to give more of what you would love to receive, and you will find that the golden rule was really the key, that whatever it is that you would like to receive from somebody, be prepared to first give it. And if you do that, we will transform the world into something quite wonderful. God bless. Hello, friends. I'm here to remind you that we have this relationship going on. It's a happy relationship. And somebody said, I could just say, I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. Well, I hope you're happy too and hope you're free. But we're inviting you to participate in our program to help us to make this program go far and wide so that it can touch other people's hearts. And you're a big part of it. And also for us to thank those of you who have sent in your support. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who are kind of on the edge, come on, get off the edge. Let's do this. Because if we do this, we will make a bigger impact in our community of having good spread out upon the earth where everybody can experience it. So look at our screen, and you will see many different ways in which you can help us. So please do that. Thank you. Friends, I'm inviting you now to pray with me. And I'm speaking the word right now for us to be able to demonstrate this law of circulation, to feel the wholeness of life, to feel how marvelous it is to be alive in this universe at this time, to know that this is the privilege. And for this privilege, we are willing to give of ourselves, because when we all do this, we are creating a world that is beautiful. And despite the challenges, that is what our mission is. And we can do this. And each group of people that come into the world have been doing the best they can, and we need to do no less. And so today I bless us all for knowing that there is a power in us greater than we are that we can use, that is spreading out that good so that people can find what they need, and most of all find the fact that they can live in love and harmony on this wonderful little planet of ours. Know that this is true. Give thanks for it. And so it is. Thank you for sharing this time. Peace.